Hey everyone, Mike on Monday coming to you. Wanted to touch on a few things this week, looking back what we saw last week, primarily insects, but maybe I'll start with the weed of the week, which would be tall water hemp. Yep, it's that time of the year. It's starting to blow up. It's starting to show up. Questions are what can we do, etc., etc. So we were at a plot last week, got some training on it, and let me tell you that residuals on that soil multiple times through the year are one of the scenarios that look really good. We need to really pay attention to that combination. I'm not saying it's perfect, but the trying to knock this thing down once it's up and growing, or it wasn't held back by some of the residuals in the plots that we were looking at, boy, what a difference. Getting those residuals down early and getting another layer on in season really is helping moderate the population of those of that particular weed. If you're seeing it in your prevent plant acre, make sure you're doing your due diligence because this thing is going to blow up real fast. My colleagues and I have been starting to pick this up in fields that we've been on for the number of years, and all of a sudden the whole field is full. Last year, one field that's in my mind, didn't see any water hemp in it that year or the previous year. This year, solid from one end to the other. That's how fast this thing changes pace. Speaking of changing pace quickly, insects. So we're picking up this little black dude. That's what they look like from a distance. If you magnify it, you get yourself a red-headed flea beetle. Right now, populations are growing, but they tend not to give us too many times that we hit an economic threshold. Western corn or Western bean cutworm. Here's an egg mass. Numbers are starting to grow on that from the state. Let me just scroll up, and you can see that in the yellows, we're starting to pick it up more heavily at the middle of the state, and we've got some outliers that reach up here into Kewaunee County. But pressure ain't huge yet, but our weather is such that we're going to see things changing. And then you got these boys who seem to be showing up at every party that there is. This is Japanese beetles. So here they're having a feast on corn silk. But last week we were finding them in soybeans, in grapes, in raspberries, in ornamentals. They're everywhere. So those are, it's that time of year that this insect, Japanese beetle, is really starting to blossom and bloom. Remember, putting out pheromone traps is a great way to get them to come to your place. You may want to reconsider doing that. The other bug that I've been talking about the past couple of weeks, the potato leafhopper. Lime green is more realistic. This photo actually is picking up some colors that aren't quite right, but think lime green, and he's about 1/8 of an inch long when you're looking at him without magnification. If you can follow my cursor, you'll see this wedge-shaped yellowing that begins. Last week I showed you some plants that were also reddening. If you happen to be a poor tree frog that gets caught in the net, he has no respect from these little leafhopper nymphs. Again, Japanese beetle showing up in multiple crops. They're going to do a lot of chewing on various plants. They have lots of places that they get that they eat, so nothing really seems to be immune to them as far as what crop are they going to eat, what flower are they going to eat, what ornamental are they going to eat. They love everything. And then the last bugs here, some tarnish bug that we find in our alfalfas, in our nets. Again, I'm a believer of multiple pests can create a combination of pressure out in that alfalfa field. So leafhoppers, along with tarnish bugs, along with aphids, can be a complex of bugs that you need to take into consideration. The conditions that we've had this year are very good for a lot of insects, so we're going to see populations continue to increase. So be on the watch, be ready to pull the trigger when you hit those economic thresholds out there. With that, enjoy what's supposed to be a very good week of modest air, that maybe we can get out there and get some combining done on the rye and the wheat and get that straw put away before any inclement weather returns. But with that, be safe and enjoy the week. See you next week.